Thank you. I am MD Rashedul Hasan. I'm from Bangladesh. And now I am working at Digital Telecommunication. I am working here as a system administrator. Now I am going to tell about the contents localization initiatives to get better user experience. I have made this presentation with the help of different sources like website, presentation slide, how users are connected to the internet. Interconnection is the mutual exchange of traffic across separate networks by contractual agreement between different internet service providers. Hierarchy of interconnection, transit, is a default path for any traffic that comes and goes from outside of the network. Peering. Peering is the direct interconnection between one network and another network to support the exchange of traffic. There are two types of peering. One is private peering, another is public peering. Private peering allows a network to connect directly over a dedicated physical link known as a private network interconnection. That means PNI. Public peering allows a network to connect other network over a shared fabric known as an internet exchange. That means IX. Different types of networks. Networks come in all shapes and sizes, and they all have different purposes. eyeball networks, content networks, and carrier networks. In eyeball networks, ISP that provides internet connectivity to end users. The ISP may pair with Google, which is a content provider, where the end users consume content provided by Google. In this case, the ISP is just a eyeball network, providing means for the end users to reach Google provided actual content. However, it is to be noted that not all ISPs are eyeball networks. They can be pure transit provider with tier 2 networks and lower. They can serve as both an eyeball network and a transit provider depending on their business model. Here is the content flow of eyeball networks. Content networks. Content networks are the reverse of the eyeball networks. This is network originate the majority of traffic destined to be consumed by end users. Carrier network. This is network are provided to. This is network are the providers of all other networks in sense they transport packets from content networks to eyeball networks across the globe and are the backbone of the internet. Why do people access the internet? To access the internet content, to communicate each other, to socialize, for entertainment, web transactions. What is contents in internet? Internet contents refer to the information that you find on the internet. It can be anything from a picture, video, or even text. Where contents are available? Contents are available in different locations all over the world. So all content sources are not same. And content path may vary as per their origin and delivery location. How contents are serving to the users? By using the followings. One is global internet, private network interconnection, content delivery network, edge router, local cache on premises. What dimension matters for better user experience? There are three well-known dimensions. One is cost, another is performance, and last one is reliability. Cost. Generally, a transit interconnect is more expensive than peering on a cost per Mbps basis. Performance relies among others on the number of hops to reach a specific destination. A direct peering connection allows the content to go directly from the content provider to the subscriber. Reliability. As a thumb of rules, the more reliable paths to choose from between a source and a destination, the more reliable the eventual service renewal rate between the two. For example, if the primary path fails, a backup path is immediately available to all. Best practices for content serving: implement content localization technique to deliver the content to the end user. Content localization, what is this? Content localization is the process or mechanism that optimizes the way in which data or content is accessed and delivered from the closest servers, data center, and cloud to the requesting endpoint server. This helps in optimizing the time taken and improving overall speed and performance. Benefits of content localization. There are so many benefits in content localization. I have mentioning some here. One is content load within short possible time, improve application performance, reduce database cost, reduce the load on the backend. Predictable performance, eliminate database hotspot, increase read throughput. Initiatives for content localization. Content localization initiatives may be: one is content delivery network, that means CDN caching. Another is implement cache server into own premises. Sorry, CDN, the latency in edge delivery. CDN, the latest in edge delivery. A content delivery network refers to a geographically distributed group of servers which work together to provide fast delivery of internet content. A content delivery network allows for the quick transfer of assets needed for loading internet content, including HTML pages, images, and videos. The popularity of CDN services continues to grow, and today the majority of web traffic is served through CDNs, including traffic from major sites like Facebook, Netflix, and Amazon. Content loading procedure. I am mentioning here the two techniques. One is content is serving from origin server, and another is content serving from CDN server. That means CDN edge router. From the left side figure, we can see that origin server will take time for 3 seconds to provide the content to the user. Besides this, the right side figure, we can see that the content is delivering to the user within 1 second by using CDN server. That means resources are downloaded from the nearest CDN server. Our left side figure showing that resources are downloaded from the origin server. So we can make a decision that origin server will take more time than CDN edge router or edge server, CDN edge server to provide the content. CDN origin server and edge server. CDN origin server can take on all the responsibility of serving up the content for an internet property, such as a website, provided that the traffic doesn't extend beyond what the server is capable of processing, and latency is not a primary concern. CDN edge server. A CDN edge server is to store content as possible to a requesting client machine, thereby reduce latency and improving page load times. CDN, how is it beneficial to you? Static content will be served from the nearest server. Your bandwidth requirement will be certainly decreased. Content delivery network provides faster page load and performance with redundancy. CDN copies your static content to geographically dispersed server. Hence, your website load is divided among them. Ultimately, your website is highly available to your visitors. Major challenges for CDN. I am mentioning there are some challenges here. One is technical understanding. Proper tricks. That means I am going to tell that technical understanding that means the tricks is most important. How can apply this, where I can apply these tricks, and what's the best practice, and what's the best policy to gather my goal, or to achieve my goal. Proper planning for content delivery, it's depending our planning, how we can deliver our content, and what's the best policy, and what's the our traffic shifting policy is fully depend on us and our planning. Fulfill the CDN provider's requirement. It is depending our CDN provider, how many requirements they need, and what's essentials we need to provide them. So we should fulfill the requirement to make the CDN connectivity. Financial capability is one important thing, that to make the connectivity, or to a CDN provider, or to establish a CDN node in our site, it's one important thing, that financial capability. They need high performance and a high resourceful server to mount into our data center. So we should pay proper amount for the new hardware purchasing cost, and we should maintain this hardware as per needs. So financial capability also our challenge, and also our depends to provide the content within short possible time and so fast time. Consideration while choosing a CDN. While choosing a CDN, you will compare the services offered by several different content delivery network companies. How many POPs does the CDN provider own, and what's the strength of their overall infrastructure? It's really vital issue. Can the content delivery network handle all types of content, and is it capable of meeting your specific requirement? Your requirements meeting or requirement fulfilling capability should be available into the CDN site. Does the CDN technology offer advanced network securing without hampering the speed? Is there a seamless integration between the two? How do the CDN pricing and customer support work? Does the CDN provider give you network statistics and analytics to understand speed, performance, and real-time work latency? It's also important to get the statistics or analytical understanding. Peering category at a glance. Here, I am mentioning one peering category. Our total capacity is divided to one is domestic capacity, another is international. Domestic category is also divided to CDN, local pair, and MyAX. That means our AX. And international capacity also divided into some types like IX pairing, upstream, direct pair, CNI, what I have discussed earlier. On-premises cache server implementation. Various use cases: game caching, web caching, general caching, integrated cache, database caching, session management, domain name system, that means DNS caching, application programmable interface caching for hybrid environment. Local stream caching server, how it's what? I'm showing one example here. One gamer PC is requesting for a content to the gaming server or our local cache server, LAN cache server. And LAN cache server for the first time trying to providing this service for his own storage, that means own NAS storage. LAN cache server for the first time trying to provide the service for his own storage. If this content is not available there, then it goes to the internet for the content, and through the internet content will receive from the streaming server where actually content located. Now, after getting the destination, content will return to the internet and finally goes to the our LAN stream caching server. After that, this content will save into the NAS storage or local storage is there. When content is available into our storage, into the server, then for the second time in the right side figure, when one request is come from the gaming PC to the cache stream server, then this request will not forward it to the internet or the remote stream server, because this content is already available into the storage. So this content will provide from the own mass storage. So what's the benefit? It's benefit that bandwidth utilization is less, and content delivery or serving time is so less, and efficiency is so high. DNS caching and how it makes your internet better. It's one important caching frame that in browser, user is requesting for a simple website like www.google.com. When one user requesting for www.google.com website IP address, is this answer is searching from the local site, that means browser cache. When this cache is not available there, or this result is not available in cache, then it is request forwarded to the local cache, that means ISP local DNS cache. If this record is not available the local cache, then it will provide it to the remote DNS servers. That means remote site. There are available root DNS server, top level DNS server, second level DNS server, and so many servers are available there. After resolving the DNS procedure, completing the DNS procedure, this IP will return from the remote DNS server. And for the first time, if the ISP DNS server is the cache DNS server, then it will store inside. After that, this request is feedback from the ISP DNS server to the end user who has already provided the request for the specific website. In the DNS working mechanism. For the second time, if one user requesting for the same to reach the same IP address of the website, then it will not go to the internet or root server on or other top level DNS server on any other location. It will search from the ISP DNS server, that means cache DNS server. Like LAN cache DNS server, it will take less time to provide the reply to the user, and it will more faster, and it will use less bandwidth at all. Guidelines and best practices. Caching is a long and complex topics, but the following rules are a good start. Keep DNS resolution on premises. It's so much best practice. If you keep a cache DNS server inside, then you can provide the reply of the DNS query as so fast way. Configure access control list. It is most important. If you configure access list, then you can declare the who can access your DNS server and who can provide the request to a DNS server. Otherwise, all users can use your DNS server so that it will make an open DNS resolver. It's not a good practice at all. It will more harmful, and it will more dangerous for your network infrastructure. So ACL deployment is so must and so most important thing that on your DNS server. Deploy any DNS server. It's a wonderful thing that if you have many POPs or many location, then you can deploy DNS server for the low latency or for the faster response or group wise, zone wise DNS query serving procedure. You can deploy several DNS server into several POP. After that, you can make the anycast routing between the DNS servers. And after that, or if one request come to the DNS server, then it will serve from the nearest or closest DNS server, so that it will make the best or faster response at all. Build a local stream linkage server. Local linkage server building is good practice. I have already explained the local DNS server activity and working procedure there. Recommended for content localization. Performance optimization is an ongoing exercise. Customers are becoming more demanding. The internet become more complex, and delivering platforms are becoming increasingly specialized. So we can make the focus on content localization as soon as possible to get the better experience. Questions are welcome and courage. This is for you. Be sure you get the most out of it. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Please